For 6 years, the Terrible Warriors has been supported by you, our listener. And if you'd like to continue to support this show, consider supporting us through Patreon at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. Even though this season's about to be coming to an end, we still have a lot of content we're going to be sharing with you over the summer in the form of interviews. We'll be running private games and live streams on Twitch, so the overall project that is the Terrible Warriors will continue. And for more information and to stay up to date on the developments of the future of the podcast, be sure to visit patreon.com/terriblewarriors. And today, on the Terrible Warriors, our final episode of our 6th season. Journey with us together into the Forbidden Lands. Our adventurers have been lost in the woods and have wandered through the hollows, and now they have gathered the information that has led them to Weatherstone Keep. In these ruined halls, a dead king lies waiting. Treasure that has been left abandoned for 300 years. Oh, but it won't be that easy. It never is. This is our season finale, and these adventurers who arrive at the halls of Weatherstone, they are your Terrible Warriors. Welcome, Terrible Warriors, back to the Terrible Warriors. See how I do that? You're Terrible Warriors now, too. I'm Justin Eacock, your Game Master here. We're running through Forbidden Lands. We're learning this game for the first time together, actually. This is the first time I've had a chance to run this game, playing with players who've never played this game. So as a grand Terrible Warrior tradition, we are all stumbling our way through the dark. For now, let me introduce you back to our merry band of adventurers. We have left the hollows behind, and we are moving on for real adventure, and probably trying out these combat mechanics as well in the next hour. Spoiler alerts. We are joined here by our minstrel.
Kelly, the minstrel, a halfling minstrel who has no form of combat ability whatsoever, so this hour will be fun.
And that was Leon.
and that was Leon, yes. And our rogue.
Scott Thrower from Fairy Tales for Unwanted Children, playing a Bibbin Leaf Shield who has a strange fetish for wives who have fathers.
Interesting.
And my name is Lovina. I'm playing a human rider called Lovina, and you might recognize me from Shazam.
You did that thing. That was a thing that you did. And then the memes went viral.
Yep.
Yeah, they did. And our druid.
Joe Drummond playing Rivka, who is incredibly interested in ravens.
So
interested.
You're very interested in ravens, and you have found another fellow druid on the road with you in the form of Nervia, who has joined you on the road as you have left the hollows following rumors and legend of Weatherstone, of treasure hunters that have already headed out before you, of a dead king trapped there and an army of soldiers that never left. So our writer's really into that stuff and really wants to know more about the dead. And you leave. It's been 2 days since we last saw everybody. You crossed the river, continued into the forests of the Shroud. Relatively uneventful. No more monsters, no more empty armor walking around, no bodies to be found. But on the second day, you have another day. You'll reach your destination, you believe, tomorrow. You come across the sounds of singing in the woods, drunken singing, just on the overside of that rock, and singing interspersed with moaning and sounds like hurling, and then more singing.
I mean, in the same kind of way that you leapt towards action in the crypt when you heard sobbing, I mean, you're drawn towards misery and I'm drawn towards song.
Yes, I'm kind of amazed she stuck with us through this journey this time.
Oh, really? Yeah. Let's head on over.
It's you find as you come over, there's an abandoned camp, an old campsite, like the fire's been put out. Some litter's been left behind. Tents had been moved up, but pegs are still in the ground and stuff. But among that, there seems to be one bedroll left behind, and backpacks, and lots of bottles, and left spilling. And you can hear just out in the bushes, moving around, the singing and the throwing up.
Hell yeah, let's loot the backpacks.
So as all of this is going on and all of them are rushing forward, I put a hand on Nervia's shoulder, and I say, and I whisper into her ear, "I want to talk to you."
I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, but I mean, maybe we should look what's going on just over here. He might be he might need some assistance." That's a lot of alcohol lying on the ground,
And that's a lot of backpacks with stuff in them, with money in them. Possibly, let's loot this.
So you're going through, and the backpacks has some clothing, and there's bits of food, and there's no money of any kind. And the drunk man comes around. "Oh, what are you? Get out of my things! I'll strike you down, you bandits! I'll have you, sir."
Are you a bounty hunter?
And he says, "No, it's not a bounty hunter. I'm not a bounty hunter. What's my name? It's Rolf." He throws up again on the ground.
Gross. Where are the bounty hunters?
I'm Rolk.
So his name's Rolf?
Rolk.
Sorry,
Rolk.
Ralph.
I'm Rolk. Why are you all yelling? I'm with Esther Farthing's expedition. We're heading out for finding treasures, We're going.
Yeah, so are we. So what's the direction? Where are you heading to?
We're heading on nearby. We're going to the Weatherstone.
Oh, yes, so are we.
Where we're
Having
going,
a
yes.
great party. They all left without me in the morning.
Oh, they're having a
of course.
party.
Yeah, we had a party.
Oh.
You should have been here last night. We had a great time. The party doesn't have to end, though. And he finds one of the jugs on the ground. He pops it open, and he starts drinking away from it.
All right, then.
So wait, you were here with the party? Like, who else were you with? Who else is in your group?
Oh, so there's a father. There's a fathering Esgar. Esgar.
Father, you say?
Esgar fathering. He's not my father. Is he your father?
No, but
he your
is he
father?
someone's father?
He's probably someone's father.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Since I've heard that the party has gone ahead and that he used to be part of them, I'm going to try and sleight of hand pocket one of his outfits, just in case I need to disguise myself as him.
You don't
later.
even need to sleight of hand. He is so out of it. You can just
Done
grab
and
his
done.
backpack. He is going to just stay at the camp and continue the party from last night and catch up with them later.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like they just left him here.
Cool.
Taking
I'm going to
more
leave
trouble.
them too.
Sure, I'm actually gonna grab some of the food from the backpack.
Yeah.
I need some more. Can I up to a D8?
Are you robbing this man? What a monster.
You know, I just I liken to my friends and I learn from people here, and I guess that's just the way we do things.
You empty him out for everything he has, and you take it all. As long as he keeps his bottle, he'll be fine.
I just want some food.
Cool.
So you follow the trail. It looks like there was a wagon as well, and they're making their way through a footpath, and you can see lots of there. But they were here yesterday, so they've got a day advance on you. When you arrive the next morning, we'll roll past making camp and surviving the night and doing encounters. We want to get to the fun stuff. You arrive at Weatherstone. How does they describe it? The fog there, never lifted, drifts like shredded souls through the windswept mountain pass you traverse. As the fog disperses for a moment, you see the crumbling stronghold rise against the northern side of a mountain pass, surrounded by a moat filled with muddy water. The landscape is barren. Only thorny bushes and sharp grass survive in these lands. It's quiet, apart from singing and strange animal sounds, the likes of which you have never heard before. Naked bones from horses and humans are strewn across the road closest to the stronghold. A fire burns in the watchtower in front of the stronghold, and the smell of food drifts on the wind. So that front looks like a melted candle.
Mm-hmm.
There's fire coming out of that.
What is
in
this
the
hanging
stronghold.
from a rope?
And it looks like a crane or a rope.
Okay.
Over the top, maybe to bring supplies up into the keep from the ground below. And so you arrive there. There doesn't seem to be any sign of Farthing's expedition. If they arrive, they may have already brought everything inside to the keep itself. But there is signs of life in the watchtower in front of the building.
I know we're going to have to stop at this watchtower, but that crane thing might be an easy way up to the top.
All right, you can go climb that. I'm going to head into the castle.
Oh, the crane thing. I mean, the crane is winched up at the top.
Yeah, but
It might be
perhaps
an
there's
easy
some
way
sort of
out.
trigger at the bottom.
if you go around to the bottom, you'll find a ravine with. Let me see where that is. Oh yes. So it's not a ravine. It's just underneath the road. You might even walk underneath it as you're coming around all the bones and the horses I was describing. It's a cliff face going up. There's no trigger device at the bottom.
Okay.
If it's used, it would maybe used when merchants arrived because it was so far up to the top. They would just load the stuff in, but it wouldn't be each way. It would be from the top down. So you might keep note. It might be a good exit strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to head up into the keep, the stronghold.
Want to go? You're not interested with the watchtower? You'll walk past it.
Well, we'll stop.
No,
by
that's
the
fine. No,
watchtower.
I don't care what you do.
Yeah, because I just want to like run in there, get some free shit, stuff.
No, I think we should stop at the watchtower just in case.
So you could. I don't want to lead you down. There's nothing scripted here. There's stuff everywhere to visit. And if you want to ignore it, you can find, and things will happen whether or not you trigger encounters. I was just.
Bibbin heads for the watchtower.
I don't want to corral you, is what I'm saying. So Bibbin wants to head for the watchtower. You want to head right into the doors. So we'll split up again, and we'll check in with what you see in just a moment as you go up. Who's going with Bibbin to the watchtower?
I guess I will.
Yeah, and you want to have a moment with Nivea.
I want to have a moment with Nivea, and this seems like a pretty good time.
So this sounds like a pretty good time. Nivea.
Nervia.
Nervia. What? She's a little nervous. She's like, maybe I bit off a little bit more than I can chew. I don't think I can heal these people, she says, chuckling.
I'm not sure I can either, let's be honest.
Why did you bring me along?
I wanted to talk to you somewhere safe.
Well, wouldn't call this safe, but
it may be safer than the alternative. No one told me about you. The Raven brought me to you.
And she just takes a seat down at a rock on the side of the road. Oh. Well, that's good news. And complicated news.
I agree. Every night since I was a small child, the Raven visited me in my dreams. I've never understood it. And the first night that we were in the Hollows, I saw your house in my dream.
Who knows what the Raven thinks these days? He has left us to be hunted down one by one. Of course, she's a Raven sister. Enemies of the Rust brothers. And has been hiding out in the Hollows ever since she was chased out of the last place she lived. But she doesn't know what she can do to offer to help or comfort. It's... you don't get to choose who the Raven favors.
Where do I go from here? What do my dreams mean?
She just looks at you like with a bit of sorrow in her eyes, going, I don't have answers for you, child. If I knew that, I wouldn't be hiding in the Hollows under the watchful guise of a Rust brother who I wish wouldn't know what I was.
But he does?
I suspect he does. He certainly knows enough circumstantial evidence. If I was too overt, he'd have no choice but to act, but its uneasy silence is what makes it torture.
I see. Thank you for being open with me.
She can't help you with the Raven because no one knows what's going on. But she can perhaps later offer some druidic teaching that would train you in another rank in spells and stuff. Teach you some of her healing and give you a rank in the path of healing. It's not going to happen on the podcast because we're not really doing a whole long form, but it's an option that could happen there as she's a teacher in a path that you could learn. And so she's kind of looking out there. Do you really need me to go in there? I can just stand guard out here for any trouble.
Do you think that's any safer?
Good point. She grabs her backpack and slings it over her shoulder. So where are you going? Are you going up into the watchtower with Bibbin, or are you following Lovina through the gates of the keep?
I mean, Lovina's had better luck so far than everyone else.
Yeah. All right. So you go off, and where do we find our minstrel?
Oh, well, I'm going to the watchtower to keep watch.
So the
developments.
The watchtower is newer than the stronghold. It was definitely constructed more recently. And vines cling to its withered walls. Smoke rises in the covered roof. Someone has a fire going. When you walk into it, you climb up to the steps, and there by a small little fire with a little grill and there's some food cooking on it, and an old man smoking on a pipe. He looks at you, goes, "Oh, more treasure seekers, I imagine."
Well, we came to investigate something, and some of our party is getting a little reckless, so I decided we might stop here first.
Well, sit and eat. And I'll tell you what you need to know before you head in, of course.
Are you secretly a monster?
No, I'm secretly a bard.
Oh.
A bard, eh? I, as a minstrel, a fellow man of the strings?
I made the wrong choice.
So please tell us of this castle and this keep and what we need to know.
Oh, I hate to break the news to you, but you're a little late to the party.
Oh, there was a party?
Well, judging by the smell on them, it sounded like they had a party. But a group of treasure seekers have already arrived. They arrived yesterday afternoon. I believe Esther Farthing was his name. They've come and gone. They headed in.
And they've left? Or they've left the tower?
I'll tell you what, they haven't left yet, and they're seeking the weapon of King Algarod. It's said to still be somewhere deep in there.
Wait, King Algarod resides here or resided here?
No, he never resided here. He was stationed here, of course. By the time he arrived, he'd already been dead for a while. And he kind of chuckles a little bit as he puffs into the pipe.
Have you ever seen this King Algarod?
No, but I hear them. They move around at nighttime, going about their business, the restless dead. Some of them might not even know they're dead, just going about their business and their chores.
Oh, that's an interesting tidbit, I suppose. Do you know if they have any sort of weaknesses we might know about?
Well, the weaknesses might be just that they only move around at nighttime. So as long as you can get your business
no need to
done
get
and
sarcastic
out.
about it.
So is there anything you can tell us about the castle? It's a conspicuous place to go into. Is there anything we need to watch for?
I think the thing you most have to watch out for are the impatient ones that came in yesterday. They're most likely to go and wake up that which shouldn't be woken. They say there was a laboratory in there as well that Zygofer himself might have used stuff to experiment on in the heydays of the wars.
No.
But,
we know that it's not
know
always,
such things.
Don't necessarily always want to go barging in the front door. Is there anywhere you'd suggest we could start and maybe get a head start on this group?
Oh, you're a little more clever than I'd given you credit for.
I have my moments.
I'll tell you. Well, you seem quite the inquisitive sort, and he takes another puff from the pipe. I'll tell you what I didn't tell them. They were a little too impatient and ran right through to the gates without saying so much as hi to me.
What monsters?
The undead lie in eternal rest, and you don't, underestimate them to be sure, but Weatherstone is still a dangerous place. The cellar, there lurks an unholy beast, a creature so vile it can rip the limbs off a full-grown man. Oh, but there is a way to slay it with that sword that the treasure seekers are looking for. Rustbite is its name.
All right, so once we win the keep and we have to clear it out so that we can set up homes here, we'll have to take care of that.
Oh, if you find the sword, you can kill the beast. Kill the beast, and the treasure and the keep can be yours.
Oh, good to hear. One final question. How's your daughter doing?
Oh, I don't have
Never
one.
mind then.
Thank you. Well met. Sorry, what was your name?
Dalb.
Dalb? Well met, Dalb.
D-A-L-B.
Thank you for spelling that. We'll be on our way.
Mm-hmm. So, meanwhile, as you go through the main gate, Lovina and
Rivka.
The drawbridge, the main gate, is rotted through and fall into the moat. The water is cloudy and foul-smelling. Unknown creatures move in the depths, sending ripples through the algae on the surface. There are other ways around, but you probably won't be able to bring your horses in. It looks like after Esther Farthing got through, the bridge gave out behind them, and the weight of it was too much from the wood. You could also fashion your own bridge out of some of the timber that lies around to just throw a log over the gap
I'm down to do
climb
that.
across. So you make yourself a makeshift bridge. Inside, there's a number of again, my map has numbers of interest on it. Your map does not. Through the main gate, there's the House of Knights, a gloomy hall, once a place of sumptuous feasts. It's now only a home to death and decay. The remains of rotting flesh and moldy tapestries spread an odor thick enough to make any living visitor gag. In old wooden chairs and on the cold stone floor are the remains of what once have been King Alderlander, or Alderod's, or the king's soldiers, as if they had fallen during a final supper. So they're all just kind of sitting around or falling around the tables, and they're all in various states of mummified
Is
decay.
there any armor or something that could fit me?
Not in any good condition. This is centuries old.
Even the weapons?
To the weathers. They're rusted and brittle.
Well, what else is nearby?
You do find in the mess silver jugs and some silver coins on the table laying around. Let me see here. Give me the dice. Don't worry. So three silver jugs and 4 silver coins. The silver jugs, some of them are still in the hands of the corpses, like they were in mid-drink when they collapsed down. And when you go to pick up one of them and pull at it, it's almost like it holds on a little bit longer, like, no, don't hold on, it pulls back, and then the hand breaks off and it brittles and lets go, and you shake it off and you get your mug back.
So we got our gold, right? We can go now?
Well, yeah, I just want to look around to see if there's another entrance into this keep.
But we can go back to the hollows now, right? We got gold.
Yeah.
Well, can I roll to
Yeah.
do one more look around?
Yeah, you can do that. While you're doing that, will that give the time for the other two to catch up to you?
Yeah.
So leaving the watchtower and crossing the makeshift bridge into the mess hall, you don't see it being too much disturbed. If Esther came through, they went right through the room, and you see Lovina's looking for any other treasure in this room, and you have found all the treasure there is to be found in this room. There's just, it's littered with bodies of soldiers and those jugs.
Okay, cool.
Keep an eye out. This looks like a good place to find silver jugs.
Yeah, as you move through, just outside is now where you see a number of horses hitched up and a wagon set aside because they couldn't go any further. The ravine outside, it's as if an axe sliced Weatherstone in two, to an eastern and a western portion. And a single chain spans the ravine. And it's obvious that there used to be a bridge there. The opposite wall, a yawning portal into the eastern half of the stronghold. From there, you can see a building. The towers go up, and there's a large bell and a watchtower. And you can hear what sounds like bird wings and screeching coming up from up in here in a part of like a collapsed roof style. And if someone give a scout, who's got the highest scout?
I think I have 7. Oh, no, sorry. No, I don't.
Don't give a scout roll. I'm not going to make you roll because there's nothing that happens if you fail. You notice some lights, torches moving, and the motion. The movement in the building of people with torches lighting the way. And also on the ground is... that's at the bottom of the ravine. So there's looks down. You can see what looks like things that have fallen into the ravine, either junk or other things. But you're looking for treasure. You see the glint of metal down at the bottom of the ravine.
Okay, so I'm going to look at all those horses to see if there's anything in their little invent space, loot them all, put it in our horse or donkey, and I want to hide our horse and donkey away from
And I'm going to untether their horses.
Okay, so the horses themselves have consumables. If you rob them out, your consumables will be maxed out. And there's still more units of food than you could carry. So
a max is what?
It would be D12
Cool.
of food and water. Other than that, it's bedrolls, it's clothing, it's flint, and there's some basic tools for repairing and crafting, and there's some maps on board as well that sketch their journey into here.
Let's get that flint.
But other things of more use and utility would be carrying by the person. They've taken them with them. So you cut the horses free and you send them on their way.
All right, guys. So I see some metal down at that ravine.
Ooh. Well, can we get a closer look?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to know what that is.
How many maps did I find?
Some parchment and rolled papers. They're hand drawn, and they're tracking their travels from here to Weatherstone and the hollows and the mountains and the rivers around. But they came from a different direction than you in some of the places, so it's filling in a couple more informations. Okay. Using this map as you're traveling, you won't need to do any pathfinding if you go to the places that they've already visited.
Any quick information we can glean from it?
Not on this location immediately. It'll just help you out as survival.
Castle.
It'll give you bonuses to surviving out in the wild.
The group that's in the castle, would they see us if we went into this ravine?
They won't see if you go into the ravine. They're going up. That would be going down.
Okay.
And they're heading up towards the like a residential tower, the most expensive looking place in the just by the windows.
And so, just for a sense of scale, like how deep is this ravine?
The ravine is...
Is it like, if we're going there, are we going to be fully submerged? Is it something we can just do kind of in like our hands and knees?
Yeah,
or
I'm reading to see how deep the ravine is. It's here on between 4 and 5. It's between 4 and 5. There's this... It's just splitting this front part from the back part, and it cuts right down into the underground. It was used as a dump site, slowly filling up with all sorts of semi-living debris. You can see motions and movement around. You can see a cave from the top, but it's several meters down to the ground. Like it's cut down. Like I said, it looks like it was cleft by an axe that sundered it in half. And then you can make out down by the caves. There's among the debris and the junk that's been tossed in, also chests and other things gleaming.
I'm so in for that.
I mean, have you still got like line of sight from what you saw up top? Do you get the vague idea of where it is, so we're not just like jumping into an entire ravine? Are you like, oh, it was around there?
Yeah, I saw an area. I saw the glimmer.
Beside those chests, there's also, it looks like a bell that's been tossed down into the ravine and is laying up amongst the rest of the debris.
I do like the idea of looting this because I've heard that if we go into the castle, there's a chance we might awaken all of the undead. Also, beware of the cellar unless you have a sword, a magic sword.
So there's some kind of a beast there that could tear a man limb from limb, and the only way to...
Probably a woman too.
Or a woman.
I doubt it'll discriminate.
Gender is a construct. And they also... There's a sword, which you might be interested in, the sword of King Elrond.
I'm so in the Necrophilia King. I want it.
Known as Respite.
Respite.
And it will give us respite from this monster.
All right.
Oh, good lord.
So...
This never stops.
Let's head on down there.
So if you want to climb down, I mean, it's... you can take your time with it, or if time is of the essence, I'll have you roll, and we'll just... you fail, you'll still get to the bottom, and you just will take damage along the way.
So is this a move check?
It would be...
Agility.
It could be agility, yep.
It might be best if we just send someone to investigate, and I'm probably the best climber out of us.
Well, I have 4 agility, and I'm going to use my willpower, so I'll have 7 die to...
Oh, then we're essentially almost tied.
I have 2d6.
Well, how about you guys do it, and we can make our slower way down. They can clamber for it, and we can take our time.
I'm okay with that.
Success.
Nervia, do you want to stay up here, or would you like to come down with us.
So yeah, all right. If you got the success, Nervy is like, I'm not much of a climber. If you have any rope, we could maybe help you down. Do we really need to go down there? I don't know if there's.
Not all of us. We'll send some stuff up.
Okay, and she would rather stay up here with the
Hide with the horses.
with the horses, and she'll look after them. So Lovina, you grab down, and as you do, like little critters down in the ravine that were, feasting on the wood, and that they all skitter off into the distance. And the chests, as you kick, are opened already, and they're full of looks like bird excrement and feathers, and it smells of waste and it stinks. But there's a few coins still there. The 4 silver coins,
2 for each.
and one valuable item at the bottom of the chest as you search through, because you seem to be quite obsessive for finding treasure. You brush away some of the bird poop, and you find a medallion. And this medallion will be worth, as I rolled, an impressive 11 silver.
Sweet.
And that's small enough that it also counts as a tiny item. But it looks like whoever had these chests dumped the chests into the ravine after they looted it. And then you can smell the stench coming out of the cave entrance.
Was that the glint or the gleam?
Yeah, was that
we'd
the
seen?
silver that I saw?
Yeah, and also just like the metal casings around the chests themselves that would reinforce and hold them down, like you would see on barrels. And it's just like iron metal that's just like pounded in to hold the chest right. But I would have caught your eye. It's just lock devices, but they've all been busted open and
how far is
wrenched
this
open.
cave entrance?
The cave entrance is right in front of you. You can walk right up to it, and you can smell this stench coming out of it.
Okay, I want to walk right up to it.
Wait. This is going to be giant birds.
Giant bones.
Birds. I mean, look at all the bird poop everywhere. This is giant birds. We might need the others.
I just want to, if I hear anything, just go up close to it. If
You,
there's the cellar door, because, what if that's the cellar entrance? I want to know that.
You don't
Pleasing
hear
word.
anything, but you do smell like a stench of rot and sharp elixirs. So, like the smell that
Ooh,
that
I know
chemistry
someone that would like that.
and like that kind of gassy smell from a laboratory.
I did hear about a laboratory being around here somewhere.
Well, Rivka might like that smell because she likes making potions and stuff. So why don't we go tell her?
Rivka, did you go down into the ravine with them?
So I've been very
Yeah.
I've been very, very slowly, very carefully looking for the most stable step that I can find, and then making a step,
Sure.
and then taking the most stable step I can find, and so I'm using my adaptive.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
on
absolutely.
Survival, and I got no successes.
So, did you get any ones?
I did.
Oh, you got one. So, and that
one.
was an agility. So you'll make it to the bottom. You take 1
Okay.
point of agility damage when you hit the ground.
Okay.
I'm also on
And-
my way down, but making it with a smaller.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rivka, there's some smells of potions by this cave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you might like
Oh.
this.
Sure.
So it's a cave entrance to an underground laboratory at the bottom of this ravine.
I get 1 failure
Okay.
on my push roll.
Okay. So same deal.
Take an agility.
Take
loss.
take a point of agility as you make the fall, and you get in, and this you get down and the ground kind of gives out because it was a dumping ground. You dropped into an old timey landfill, and the ground isn't exactly solid. It's hard to keep your footing, but Lovina here never loses her balance, so is walking around like it ain't no thing.
Okay, so can I see into this maybe laboratory that smells very interesting?
Do
hearing
you
it.
have any torches? Do you have anything to create light?
I would like to summon some light.
Okay.
So I have not gotten it. I always play spellcasters, even if
Yeah. And you have the willpower to
And I
use
have
this.
the willpower, so I'd like to cast Lightbringer. I summon a bright light that dispels all shadows within near range, i.e. in the same zone as you.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so you can throw that in, and because it is dark down here, there's nothing lit, there's nothing living. So when that happens, anyone who's at the cave entrance sees the The chambers, they were grand once. Remains of silken old portraits that haven't been torn down still hang on the walls. Now the rooms are filled with cauldrons, pools, broken pottery, dissection tables, other items and things. Everything is covered with dust, but to your horror, you realize the body parts of the animals and humans that have been nailed to the walls were alive until recently. Something is moving in the debris, and the light comes in. It's almost like they react to the bright light being brought into the room, like eyes would squint, and everything is still, and then something in the room moves out of the room from the introduction of the light.
Guys, this is so cool.
Guys, would anyone define this as a cellar?
I don't think we should be here.
I don't feel like, because it's a cellar, I would, if there's any wine laying around, then I'd be like, yeah, it's totally a cellar. But it's just bodies. So I think this is just more of a cave or a lair.
I kind of want to look around.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, well, if you're going to look around, someone here give me a scout roll.
Not me.
Who's keeping the lookout?
I'll do it. 1. Okay, I got 3 6s. And 1 1.
Cool. No, that doesn't
call
matter.
us the
3
3-6
6s is
mafia.
more than enough. And then you see this foul demon, and in the light brought in by our druid, it's half scorpion on the back and half lion from the front. It was never really a creature meant to live, but you've heard the rumors that Zygofer used to bind creatures together to create bigger, better creatures. And it's sniffing around, it's looking for food, and it can see now the first meal it's seen in a long time of living meat. And you catch it, though. It's going to come into the room if you don't leave the laboratory, but you have the opportunity to have the jump on it, as it were, before it comes back around and moves into the room. Because you've caught it before the rest of them. So I'm just making sure that this is... Yeah, okay, it is shuffled. Cool. So the way... after you do your first attack, the initiative in Forbidden Lands is done through a deck of cards. We shuffle between 1 and 10, and you take a number, and that's your order in the events. There are some talents and things that you can get that allow you to draw more than one card. And when you manipulate people in combat, you can manipulate them to give you their initiative and trade cards, or you can feint as a move in a combat with an enemy, and you'll swap your positions, you'll trade cards, and there's other things that can happen like that. But for the most part, instead of a dice roll, it's just you just draw from a card deck. That's all they did. So this is our first combat in the game, so be patient with me as we try and figure this stuff out. It is going to be against a monster, which is a little different from going against everything else. But the scorpion beast is going to be moving into the room, and you seem like you're ready to go for this.
Yeah.
So how do you want to start this? It hasn't noticed you. It's just noticed the smell and the light, and it was originally startled and jumped out of the room, and it's going to come back in. And as soon as it sees what's in this room, it's going to attack.
I'm just going to go start attacking it.
Okay, cool. So in every turn, as we go into it, you'll have a slow action and you have a fast action that you can do. Fast actions include moves, so you can do move twice if you want to get from far to near and near to arm's reach. Some of your weapons have arm's reach, some of your weapons have near. Everything in this game works in zones in terms of the way distance is handled as you narrate your way around the room. Here in the laboratory, it's small enough that kind of everything is within near range, and to get further than that would be to leave the room and to move somewhere else. Arm's reach, so with your staff, you can mostly move around and still be able to get in within reach. So fast actions are quicker and usually don't require a dice roll. Slow actions are tied in with anything that's a skill, is by default a slow action, unless something would say otherwise. So if you're going in, you have is it a two-handed axe?
Yeah, I have a hand axe.
You have a two-handed axe, and you're coming up against the scorpion monster, or the scorpion beast. And, I mean, describe how you want to come at this thing.
I'm just really hungry to fight.
Yeah.
So I have like no fear, and also my talent is fearless. So
All right. What's going to happen when you're rolling? There's some additional dice that you roll because we're using gear for the first time. So remember, we're adding our attributes and our skills to get dice, but your gear, your axe in this case, also generate dice. And the issue when you push and you get ones on your gear dice, your weapon will then drop down a dice, like a number value. So what's the bonus on your axe right now?
2.
2. So if you get a 1 on a push, your axe will drop to a 1. And if you get a 1 on then a follow-up, again, it'll drop to a 0. If a number drops to the 0, the weapon is destroyed. But if it's just been damaged, it can be repaired over time. So those are just things to remember, which is why we separate the dice when we're rolling them, because that only affects the ones on specifically just the gear dice, not on any of the others. But likewise, the gear dice, the ones don't generate damage on you and don't count towards hurting you if you push through like it was happening before. All right, so you come at it. You're going to move in. The next time you attack and you're within arm's range, you can use that fast move to swing in and get some bonuses.
Yeah.
The attack is successful. The damage is done is increased by 1 when you swing into an attack.
Cool.
Let's roll
I'm
to
gonna
attack.
Bump myself up to 10. Use my willpower
Mm-hmm.
and use my animal handling. So I have 6. Yeah, I have 10 in total now.
Yeah.
Wait, do we have initiative yet?
Not yet. Lovina's moving in first and spotted them, and right after this, we'll then draw our cards. We'll see how everyone
No
reacts.
6s. Do I have to roll for my weapon now?
Yeah, you would have rolled your weapon with that, but yeah, roll your weapon in on that same roll.
6.
Okay, so you get the attack. You get the success. But I have 5 armor that I'm rolling against that. Because you don't have the secret sword that's going to immediately deal the damage to it.
Welcome to the cellar.
So, when I roll, any of my 6s would cancel out your 6s, and I didn't roll any 6s, so you deal damage. So you come in and you slash at the scorpion beast, and everyone else is going to draw a card, and we're going to find out the order that we then take this thing in. So, Mr. Leon, what number are you? You're a 2. Aces count as 1. You're a 10. There with Scott. A 5. Write these numbers down so we don't forget them. 2, 10, and 5 for Lovina. And a 7 there and I had a 9. So you see the rider run off, swing an axe, and hit into, oh my God, there's a monster in the room. I didn't even notice it's there. And there's this crazy looking scorpion beast. And it screams out when it hits into the it's got this thick, heavy, like carapace shell all around it. And coming up from like that scorpion part of its body, and it's acting as a natural armor. But the axe hits it, and it takes a whole chunk of that armor, chips it off. I mean, you didn't strike flesh, but you took a bit out of it. And now it's your go.
So I can't assist actively in combat a lot, but I want to try and see what out like it's a bigger place than just where we're fighting, right? There's a lab, are there like shelving and like a bench and that kind of thing around, or
there's urns that look like they have body parts, eyes. There's one with a brain, and there's other like pieces of silver laboratory equipment, and it looks like it's made of silver. But what are you looking for?
Are there any like weird vials and strange like I don't know things full of like?
Yeah, I mean, there's
looking...
like I said, like urns that contain weird experiments, and some of them are still bubbling, and that's where a lot of the smell that was coming from.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try and run past and get to that area and see if there's anything I can find to just kind of I don't know throw shit at it.
All right.
I can't imagine that it's like going straight for me as I'm kind of like running past it. Isn't it kind of engaged?
Yeah, no, it's engaged, and you're moving around the room. It's at the end of the room. You want to move into the laboratory and start rifling around and looking if there's anything you can find. Sure. So you can move in there and see if anything finds of interest. Let's roll for successes.
Sure.
With an investigation or scouting or something that would allow you to...
I've got wits. Just my normal wits. Is that something as investigation insight?
Insight. Well, no, insight's for people. It was probably just scouting then.
Okay.
Because what we'll do is any successes you find there, you'll find additional weapons you can throw. Oh hell, you did. You rolled a 6.
Yep.
Good for you.
Just looking for like improvised weapon type things.
Yeah, so I mean, improvised weapons. You find like you can throw the urns at them, and I'll find.
Like, unless there's anything cooler there, that's probably what I'll resort to.
Yeah, we throw it. I mean, we treat it like throwing a rock, which deals like 1 damage as you toss it at them.
Sure, I'm imagining like stuff with like liquids and stuff in them, just in case anything there is like a weird, I don't know, corrosive kind of substance, basically.
Yeah.
Cool.
We can, sure.
Can I try and do that?
You can try and do that.
Awesome. That's what, with strength?
Yeah, so throwing. It's a roll for marksmanship.
Marksmanship is agility. Cool. I'm currently rolling at a 2. Yes, success.
Oh hell. Okay. So the urn flies through the air and it lands on the scorpion's beast's head and it explodes open and it hisses and there's like the smoke and that goes and there's a burning. I'm gonna treat it like it's a fire, and it's eating into the skin like an acid and it screams now and it's getting mighty mad. But I've got a 9 on the initiative, so. Who is next after 2 was the...
I'm at 7.
You're at 7, so it's the 5. Who picked a 5? So it's Lovina. You get another go here. And I might even say you got it in the eyes.
Fuck yeah, go for the
When you
face.
went there because you were thinking so out of the box. So it can't see now, and it's going to be swinging wildly at whatever's nearby. And right now, Lovina is the one that's closest nearby.
Okay. I got a 6.
You did?
Yeah.
How many 6s? Did you get any additional 6s?
No, just the 1.
Okay. So give me...
12 dice. Jeez. If you didn't get a 6 with that.
I got no 6s, so my armor doesn't work out. So it's down now. You've gotten a third of the way. This time your axe gets into its like a scorpion shell armor,
Thorax,
and the thorax armor, the carapace, and when it hits off, a bit of it goes free, and it exposes the flesh underneath now, and you're like chipping away at this thing, and it's working. After 5 is 7, so
Oh no.
our druid, you have a go at this.
Just to confirm, none of the general spells are like damagey spells or anything like that.
No, they're dispelling, detecting. You can. It's called spell binding, where you can take a spell and you can attach it to an object.
Okay.
But I don't think you even have the rank for that.
Yeah.
But they're more utility. They're not combat based.
Okay.
Like the only combat druid path is the shapeshifting one.
Right.
The other one is healing and sight. But you've allowed them to exist in this room now without torches and see everything without shadows. So it's pretty great.
Cool. I'm gonna just try to survive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just kind of like
So
pull up by
are
the door.
You want to do a stealth roll so it doesn't take notice of you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. So let's see. Just go and hide.
All right.
Roll your stealth.
with its lack of sight.
So I took 1 agility
now that
damage
it's
already.
blind, when it looks around and she's gone, it might think she left.
Took 1 agility damage. I had 3 damage, so I'm rolling 2 dice. And
You can push it and take the damage, or you can just take it as a fail.
I'm gonna just take it as
All
a
right.
fail.
So you're trying to hide, but you can't find any hiding spots because you made this room too bright, and there's nowhere to hide anymore.
so
and the
bright.
tables aren't like low enough. And after that, the scorpion is going to whip its tail around, a lightning quick attack. I'm going to hit one adventurer. It's going to be Lovina, and you're in the front with slashing wounds. And if it hits, you'll be thrown to the ground. I need 10 dice of my own.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
Just
my
take this fucking thing.
Goddamn
You can
word.
respond with. I don't believe this can be parried because of the size of it, because it's far too large. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you can dodge it, which would just be
7, 8,
like
9,
throw your
10.
face to the ground to avoid it.
Do I have to roll like my agility for that, or?
Yeah, your successes will cancel out my successes, is how that kind of works. And I rolled 1 success out of all of that.
Okay, so then I'll just roll for my agility.
Yeah.
I got 3 6s.
3-6
rolled
Mafia,
3
motherfuckers.
So
She
its
rolled 3
tail
dice.
whips past, and you dodge just out of the way. And even as it hits the ground, it like takes a scar out of the ground, and like this, it's like the tail is iron hard, but it misses you completely.
Hell yeah.
And you get to avoid that. It then takes its position and it moves into the center of the room and begins to like it can't see, so it's just moving in further into a room. And now
Roughly how big is this
you'll
room? Like,
surround
is it within Tails' reach of all of us, or?
Yeah, it's the laboratory is described as I mean it is a cave converted into this, and it's a wide cavern, and it's a single hollowed out room. But when I say room, I would say, yeah, he's in the center now, and you're all in various stages around it, and it can't see what's going on, so it's just swinging wildly. After that, it's now Scott's turn.
So Bibbin at first just figures that he'll just climb out of here and let things happen as they happen, but then remembers that the writer once mentioned that her father was attractive, so instead goes in with his dagger. Does not hit.
Do you want to push for that?
He has 2 ones.
So you can leave that and not worry about it. So the
No.
oh, you are going to, yeah.
Nope. But I do take 2 strength damage then, which puts me at 0.
Oh, it does. Okay, we're gonna have to roll
shit.
over. That's all right. People get broken all the time.
I wanted to give us a dramatic moment to end on.
So Bibbin, you move in, and I'm gonna roll over to the broken rules here real quick. The describe how you fuck it up.
Bibbin fumbles a bit with his dagger, but when he re-grabs it, he realizes he doesn't realize that he's grabbed it by the blade instead of the handle, and then he tries to jab it in, and so the handle hits the carapace, and then the blade just goes through his hands.
And when that happens, you're thrown. And when because this breaks you, and when you are broken, it's a strength break.
Yes.
You are knocked senseless. You don't take any critical injury because you did this to yourself. If someone had broken you in an attack, we'd be rolling critical injuries. So instead, you can crawl and you can mumble through the pain, but you can't perform any other action right now until something patches you up. If you take any further damage, rather than add damage, we will roll on the critical table to see what horrible things happen.
I will mumble through the pain.
So it now goes to the top,
Which is me.
which is you.
So
You just see Bibbins just get thrown, and he hits his head hard, and it's violent, and
Quick metagaming.
there's blood
here.
coming out of his ears.
Quick metagaming. I've got healing as a skill. I also have Path of the Hymn, which
Yep.
I believe can help broken allies.
Yep.
Am I able to use my Path of the Hymn to
Yep.
nurse
You
them
use
back?
when you use the hymn talent.
Does that involve willpower? Or?
It will use a willpower point. I'm turning to that page right now. The minstrel. That's Ryder.
Like, which is the better one to use in this scenario?
Probably your willpower one.
Okay.
Healing might take too much time.
Sure.
Healing would be something that you'd be able to do once the combat was completed.
Cool.
And it might be better to leave me at death's door so that in case we have
You
to
help a
schedule the
broken
next game.
comrade within short range, which he is, to get back up on their feet. For every will point you spend, your comrade recovers 1 point of the attribute that has been reduced to 0.
Okay, well, I'll use 2 willpower and put him back at 2 strength.
So you hit the ground, but then you hear...
Get up, Bibbin. I believe in you. You can do it.
the power of
Do it
friendship.
for the dads.
The power of friendship, the power of
Our
willpower.
friendship compels you.
Lovina,
The power of willpower compels you.
it's back to your turn again.
All right, so I see that meaty bit on this scorpion creature thing, and I'm gonna slash at it. So, damn. Okay, I got 1-1. Damn it.
Oh, jeez, 3 ones.
Yeah.
And you could use your pride and to roll that a third time.
Never lose balance. So I keep the 3 1s.
I believe with pride you can roll everything again because it's a once per session superpower.
Okay.
But if you fail this, you lose that pride.
Okay, I got a 6.
She never loses her balance.
You never lose your balance.
Yeah.
Now
Two
you're even more
sixes.
prideful. So with
Is it 2? Oh yeah, I got 2 6s.
2-6 Mafia.
and how much damage does this axe do? It says damage.
2.
And once again, this armor doesn't help me at all. I don't negate anything. So you deal 2 more damage, and now you're hitting flesh. Now you're cutting into it, and it's starting to bleed, and it's starting to feel pain, and it's getting angrier.
Just note that Kelly thrusts his fist into the
You
air.
can do it. We move back to the druid.
All right. So I'm
Things are getting
emboldened.
dramatic around here.
I'm emboldened by this action, and so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna try to. Can I try to finesse my? Actually, no. I'm just gonna swing at it. So I
Keep
need
it
to
simple.
move into it to be in near range,
Uh,
or am I?
if you're
already
out
in
by the
near?
walls trying to stay away from it, you
Yeah.
are short range. Then you go into near and then
Okay.
arm's length,
Great.
which is
so,
where Lovina, you're within arm's length of this thing. You're like right in its face.
It's like right in my
Yeah.
face right now.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna step into near,
yeah.
and so I guess that's my fast move.
Mm-hmm.
And so then for my slow action, I'm gonna take a slash at it with my staff because I've been so inspired.
Great. So you'll take your bonus from your gear, and
Uh-huh.
you'll be rolling in with
With my strength.
with your strength and the appropriate stat that goes with that. 'Cause
Well,
moved
so I mean,
off
if
of
it's a
that.
strength stat, I don't have anything other than crafting. So let's just say that's 0.
Okay.
Nothing happened. I feel very good about myself, and
Yep.
nothing happens.
As long as you believe in yourself, that's all I care about.
I do.
You know,
I do believe in myself.
Fun with friends. Isn't this great, guys?
I wonder, after we kill this, if we can cook the meat and eat it.
Well,
I
we
can
have to
help.
kill this thing to be able to get the treasure, so we might just get the treasure and walk out.
I still want that sword, though.
I want to eat the thing.
I kind of want its thing as a helmet. Its tail as a helmet. Like a
Yeah,
little,
yeah, that'd be cool.
So at this point, the scorpion beast lets out an otherworldly scream, which makes perfect sense, and makes your adventurer's blood freeze. Everyone within near range
Why
is
did I do that?
exposed to the fear attack.
Except for me,
So, except for you.
because I have fearless. I can roll against it.
Yeah, you have bonuses
Yeah.
to that. So you roll against that, and for every success will negate my damage. What was it was fearless,
So
right?
insight.
I think you just roll insight.
1, which
Is this
is my
wit
wits.
damage you're doing?
Yeah.
So you're rolling wits and insight,
Yeah.
and then every success you roll will cancel out any success I roll.
Okay.
The two of you, I believe, are in short distance. You're far enough away that this isn't going to chill you out. So it's just the druid and the rider. How many did you just roll?
None.
You didn't. All right. I mean, I might not roll any. I haven't been doing that well.
I don't
either.
get a chance to roll, though, because I'm
No.
not fearless.
This is just going to deal damage to your wits
All right.
directly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god! I rolled 4s and 3s. That was it. So it's we're in this weird stalemate here, and it's using whatever powers it has to its advantage, and it can't land a hit on you at all in any of my moves.
Bibbin is up again.
Bibbin is up again. You got your 2 points back.
Yeah,
You're
Bibbin.
kind of knocked senseless there, but
Give me old one, too.
you don't have to see this out to the finish. It looks like Lavina's handling this quite well on her own.
Oh no, I want to steal the glory.
Oh, I see.
2 6s.
Wait,
Oh,
but
hell.
aren't but you're late. Oh no, wait,
Yeah,
never
yeah,
mind. You
yeah,
got brought
yeah.
back
We
up.
got
Sorry.
the bard.
Sorry.
The bard was like,
Sorry.
"I can heal you." I rolled 1 6 there on the armor, so
It's 1 damage.
it's still you land a hit. It's starting to falter. It's starting to lose its balance. It's starting to freak out. That acid really got into its eyes, and its eyes aren't getting better. That's starting to get burned out. You're chipping away at its armor. You're finding its flesh, and now the rogue has jumped in, and you're getting through those gaps in the armor as well. Let's finish this thing off.
I'm just going to, repeat of
Yeah.
what. I'm just going to grab another thing to throw at it.
Okay, so you're grabbing another thing. So this part of this marksmanship roll is to make sure it doesn't land on the other people that are all within arm's length as
yeah.
well.
2 6s.
2 6s.
Fucking read them and weep.
Okay, it doesn't land on your friends, that's for sure. And it's
2 for 2. Come on.
just as it was doing its roar, you grab another one of those urns with whatever mysterious liquid Zygopher was experimenting on, and you throw it down its mouth because you got a +1 over your success, and it swallows it, and you just hear this like almost like a choke and a burp, and this stench coming out, and blood is now pouring out of the beast's mouth, and it's getting visibly weaker now, and it's whatever's happening, that corrosiveness that was on its eyes is now inside of its throat and working its way down into its body. Lovina.
All right. I'm going to attack it again. Damn it.
That's a lot less dice than you rolled last time.
Well, because I'm not using my willpower anymore.
Oh, okay.
Remember, though, as you roll ones, you get your willpower back when you push those rolls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn it. So then I have 2. Okay, I have 2 willpower.
You generate willpower when you have ones when you push a roll.
Okay, so I'm adding it all back in. I got a 6. I got 2 6s.
2 6 mafia motherfuckers.
Its armor is getting weak enough that I'm not going to roll the full 5 anymore. It doesn't matter. I don't roll any 6s. So how do you attack it here? Like, describe the scene, because this is going to break it.
Okay, so
It's
it's
not going to
like
kill it. It's going to make it broken.
it's completely blind right now,
It's
and
blind,
it's like choking,
it's
puking
choking.
up blood. It's already it can't
The
breathe.
blood is
It's already
black.
dying. And so its last breath, I go with my axe and I hit that one sweet spot where it's exposed by the neck, and I just slice it open, and that's the end.
And you slice into its neck, and you just and
And then it unravels. There's like some threading of where it was stitched together. That also unravels more, which like helps remove it faster.
It's like a demonic glue that's used to bind creatures together, and just as it breaks, the demonic glue begins to lose its hold apart, and the whole body just begins to separate.
And I shout out from the back, happy
It begins
entrails,
to
friends.
it begins to just disintegrate in front of you as whatever's on the inside as well as like undoing the work that was done to create it in the first place, and it can't even scream out anymore. Its voice has been destroyed, and it gives out this breathy gasp and wheeze as like it just starts to deflate and open up, and then it just hits the ground, and it just kind of like a dry turkey just opens up, and it
I want the liquid
dries
that
up.
comes out of it to be pink and glittery.
The smell in the room is nauseous.
So it's broken but not dead?
It's
'Cause
dead
this sounds
now.
dead.
Oh, it's dead now. The
Okay.
way Lovina described it is like, I can't break that thing. That
Gotcha.
thing's done. So that was me, ending it into a demise. So you've defeated the scorpion beast.
Wait, this means according to the legend we can get the treasure.
That just Dull was telling you a bunch of bullshit. But according to legend, it means, just as the scorpion beast dies, though, where we're going to end this episode, you hear back outside in the ravine and up above, a bell is tolling. Ding, 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 ding.
Something awoke the undead.
All of the animals that were pinned to the wall start to move and writhe and stretch and pull, and they're all like pinned like butterflies to the wall, so they're not of any danger to you, but they've all like woken up, and they all start screaming in the room, all in their various different otherworldly sounds, and you can hear through the air from the ravine what was a quiet, you just hear this moan, just this sound of 100 dead soldiers all waking up at once.
God damn it. The bounty hunters woke all the dead.
How dare they?
I think we should leave now.
I did describe them as going up the stairs to the place that if they fuck up, they would do what you had done if you had fucked up.
Yeah.
And they're
So-
absolutely not going to win.
Let's let's look around. Can we roll for anything to see if there's anything else? Any weapons we can grab?
Weapons this wasn't a room that housed weapons. It housed experimental, like laboratory equipment, but laboratory equipment in this kind of an era. So it's just glassware, some metalware, tubings, a table. I guess the the spikes that are holding the animals to the walls could count as a weapon if you needed them to.
Did we get the scorpion's tail thingy, or did that just dissipate with the rest of it?
I mean, I guess it's lying on the ground, part of the corpse of the beast.
Well, all this silver I can see around us, we can buy weapons with that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's grab as much as we can and head out.
So as you head out into the ravine, bits of corpses that were in the junk are moving and trying to, like, their hands are trying to grab at you and clawing at your feet and at your legs. You'll have to climb back up out of the ravine. I don't think anyone brought any rope or lowered it down, except
Nope.
but you know who did? Nervina. She lowers a rope down and she's got it there for you to carry yourself up. And she's like, "We gotta get out of here!"
Yes, we do.
And as you're making your way up, who wants to go up the rope first? Oh, okay. So our rogue is right there. He's climbing up, and you guys are making your way up. And Ravina's, come on. And then you see hands reach out and grab, and she disappears over the edge. And there's just this scream, and again the rasping, moaning, and clacking of bones, and you can hear the metal pounding and the bell ringing. And as you make your way up higher up the ravine, the glow of fire is coming from behind you from the rest of the keep as something is burning and catching fire, and you can see in the skies above you haven't even made it to the top of the ravine, you can see the silhouettes of bird-like creatures flying around in the smoke reflected by the firelight, and they're screeching as well. It's all just it's just everything's just this cacophony of noise and chaos. And as you reach the top, you don't know where Nervina is. You just see scratch marks in the ground, and you hear screaming from the mess hall that you had come through the first time. And the horses are freaking out, and they're screaming.
Exactly, and I do know where that horse is.
What are you looking for?
The player manual.
Oh, yes.
So I'm heading for the horse.
Okay. So you want to calm the horse down and ride it
No,
out?
I'm not calming it. I'm just climbing on, and we're going.
That's my horse, though. So my horse will not let anyone else ride it.
And like, so what's how long is it taking us to all climb? Like, are you that far ahead of everyone that you could actually like go up, take a horse, commandeer it out of there when you don't necessarily have animal handling or
I
anything?
probably won't get it all the way out of there, but this is what my character would do, and I am the most agile of us, so I would probably be the fastest.
Cool.
So the horse, its eyes are wide and it's freaking out from the fire and the noise, and it's rearing itself. If you want to ride it out, that's fine, but it will have to empathize. It will use an empathy roll and an animal handling just to calm it. You need one success to be able to go, "Whoa, don't kick me," or it will try to rear you off and bolt anyways. The only reason it hasn't bolted is you had it tied to the wall.
New plan. I'm going to go as stealthy as possible and hope that the undead is more attracted to the rest of the party.
Cool. So then do stealth. Again, by yourself, you just need one success to remain hidden. There you go.
Done.
You pull it off. So you actually pull it off with gusto. You roll the number of sixes. So
3 6s.
the you get up over and you immediately go into like the shadows and you're hiding and you make your way around the corner. You hear Nervina screaming in the mess hall and you go in. All the bodies that were lying around, they're all up. They're all grabbing swords. The broken weapons. They're not full weapons. The rusty, brittle metal. They're grabbing them off of walls. They're setting it up. They're acting like soldiers that are being activated, and they're getting into formation. But some are still walking into walls, or they're they one just has a hilt. There's no sword on it, and they're all moving around and they're searching. And you catch a shot of Nervina just being lifted up against a wall, and they're bringing their swords. They're gonna attack her. And she's right now kind of been caught up in an uprising of undead.
So how far away are we? Are we seeing this? Are we able to
Yeah.
get...
Why don't we do another initiative roll, so we can just keep the order of turns, and I'll just do one for the group. And you each do yours. And so the Ace, you're first. So that works. You're coming right over the ravine. You're hiding with a 7
9.
and a 9,
I got a 5.
and I got a 5. And the zombies have a 3. So you're the first one up.
Sure, it feels unconventional. I don't know that it'll help anything. I'm going to go and pull out my lute and play Elmer's song.
Oh, that's really great. That's actually, I love that. This is going to be manipulate
Mm-hmm.
with empathy
Okay.
instead of the normal one that manipulate does. 'Cause manipulate is empathy. So yeah, you're manipulating them to just calm them down and listen to the music. Or what's better for you, is performance higher?
I got a 9 on both.
Okay. Because it might certainly be enough for them to be caught off guard to forget about Nervina.
Success.
Okay, so you pull out your lute, and just on a spur of a moment, you remember the tune that the ghost taught you back in the Hollows. And I forgot about it. and so you start playing it, and these other ghosts, these other soldiers, they had forgotten about this too, and they hear this song from hundreds of years ago, but for them it feels like today. And for just a moment they stop and they drop Nervina, and it gives her a chance for her to just book it out the front door and off to the makeshift bridge that you had. And now you just have, now you all just have to make it through this room. You hear the bird creatures in the sky screaming something in unintelligible, but almost with a bit of a language. But they're so far up and they're so far high, and then you see another explosion of fire come out from the building as the fire is continuing to spread its way down to the building, and part of the top of the tallest tower, the ceiling collapses in on it, and the whole keep is starting to fall apart. Who is next after the ace?
I have a 5. Does anyone have less than a 5?
Okay, so you're the next one up over the lip of the ravine,
Okay.
and you're hearing the minstrels playing music.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
You're up all the way up, and you're
I had a 7.
hiding. But we just redid so I'm just doing that as the ways. You're coming up over the ravine now. We didn't really do order on the rope.
So I think I'm gonna just try to book it and follow.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, fleeing is a move to do. It's a move roll, and if you succeed, you can get past the right now. You have a moment of opportunity where the restless dead are not aggressive. They are caught they're caught off guard by this music of Alma.
And I saw something falling down in my dream, so I am going to take this moment. So do I need to roll anything?
I would have you roll move.
Okay.
Just to, so we don't have to roll any
Sure.
mishaps or interesting things, just to see that it happens without complication.
I have no successes, so
And
I'm gonna
move-
push.
It will move also works with at least one agility, or do you don't have any skills in move?
I have no skills in move. I had 3 agility, but I have 1 damage in agility.
Yeah. Okay. So you can so you're not going to flee, but you just use your 2 fast moves to move your way through. But you're going to be in this room. I might take a swipe at you when the undead come out of their trance.
I'm gonna push.
Okay.
And since I'm gonna push, I'm actually gonna use my willpower. So if you let me, I want to change this into
Survival?
a survival roll
Yeah.
because I've been seeing this in my dreams.
Yeah.
And so that's gonna change it from 2 dice all the way up to 7. That one was cocked. 3 1s and 1 6. Sorry, 4 1s and 1 6.
Oh, it's perfect. You pull it off.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
So you move your way through, and you walk in. Maybe there's just a moment where you see all the soldiers have stopped and they're watching the minstrel, and their eyes, if they have eyes, are kind of closed and they're swaying just like they were back in the Hollows. Just for a moment, they're caught in this lull, and you see Nervina get the hell out of here, waving her hands, and you make your way through the mess hall back to the makeshift bridge. The next one up after.
I'm a 7.
You're a 7, and how did you do,
I
Scott?
thought I was a 7.
No, you got a 9.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. So then you're the next one up. The last one up on the ravine, just as you make it to the top, you hear human voices yelling at each other to, keep moving. And they go, hey, you, throw us the rope. And you look back and you see various humans in states of armor. And the one at the front has this big blue gleaming sword. that is glowing right now, and behind them is just an army of undead following behind. Half of them are on fire as they're moving, unaffected by the flames, and one person at the very back is grabbed and pulled in and just ripped apart. And they're like, "Throw us the rope! Let
I'll
us
give
get
you the
out of
rope
here!"
if you give me your sword.
Really?
Give
Now's
me your
not
sword.
the time.
Give me your sword.
And he kind of looks at it. He goes, "To hell with this cursed thing!" And he tosses it across the ravine, and it lands clattering at your feet.
All right, let's go.
I give him the rope.
Oh, damn it.
Really?
Yeah, I told him I'm gonna be a word of an honorable
Yeah,
man.
sure,
he gave
sure,
me a sword.
Sure. Yeah.
You
no.
take the rope.
All right, cool. So everyone else is like, "Oh man, I really expect you to just leave them to die."
You know, I knew there was good in you after all.
Do you pick up the sword?
Yeah, I took the
friends.
The
sword.
minute you grab the sword, you're flashed with this vision of a pale, beautiful woman. And when your vision, it's almost like burned over your vision, like you looked in the bright light. And as you look up, you see it reflected at the top of the burning building where the ceiling had collapsed. And it's just sort of coolly looking, almost curiously. And then just as quickly, it's gone. And the one of the bird creatures in the air, just as he's like, cursed thing, he grabs the rope and he's tying it down, and one of the other person's helping, and they swoop down and grabs one by the shoulder and lifts them up and just drops them off into the ravine, and they hit into the ground, a sickening thud. And these are harpies that are coming at you, and you see them, they're like half women, half birds, meshed together, and they're screaming about babies and something that you've taken from us, and they're picking off the treasure hunters. As Father, are you sticking around to watch any more of this?
No, I'm
you're
on my
already
horse.
gone. You're already on your
my
horse,
and I'm
you're
checking
taking
out my
off.
sword.
And
I guess I pick up anyone else along the way because I can hitch someone on my horse.
yeah, so both the rogue and the minstrel are still there. You're playing on the lute.
Get on my horse.
Sure, I mean, I want to get my donkey.
Your donkey's
I
like
can't leave
following
flops.
behind us.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I'm just kind of like walking as I play.
yeah. Rogue.
Can I cut the rope and then run?
Sure, you were kind of watching all this in the shadows stealthily. You were
Yeah.
completely hidden.
You're the evil one. in
I
this
cut
group.
the rope and run.
And so Esther Fartherling, like the last surviving member of the treasure hunters, is making his way across the rope. And then all we see is, like, if this is a TV show, is just a blade come down on the rope, and then the camera panning back, and it's you.
Oh, man.
And just this moment of disbelief, like Wile E. Coyote, because he's middle way through the rope and it gives, and he just falls and he hits into the ground, and like hands are coming out of the junk and just start pulling him down, and he doesn't even say. There's no time for him to even say anything. It's all chillingly silent as he's just pulled down into the debris.
Well, at least he saw something beautiful before he died.
The only thing we hear is the song of the dead.
He was going to try and take the sword back.
The what
And
back?
you don't have to justify. You're by yourself, and now time to go.
I don't
Yeah,
think we
running.
see this. I think this
Yeah.
is just like your own.
I'm
Yeah.
so gone and so satisfied that I got the sword I wanted.
I'm so gone.
I don't know how you ended up with that sword, but the you didn't go through half the dungeon.
I don't know how the fuck we beat the scorpion.
Without the sword that we were told we needed to use.
And as you're on your horse, maybe there's two of you to a horse.
Yeah.
Or Nervina is also there, or the stolen horses. One of them's out there, and she's grabbed onto that and calms in it. So there's 3 horses between the 5 of you. You're making your way back, and there's the fire and the screeching, and you hear the harpies going. No one's pursuing you though. And the last bit we see as we go through. And Lovina, you're the one who has the sword, and you're the one who has the highest scout check. And the night has come around, like the day has come close. You're going to have to make camp at some point. We'll figure out all those roles in a completely other day. You see between the rows of trees, though, you didn't see Dalb the Bard because you never went up into the watchtower. So they don't recognize, but you don't recognize who this person is. But you see an old man with a pipe smoking on. And then just between the trees as it goes through, the image changes to a different person. And it changes into something a little bit larger and kind of hard to distinguish, and with a few extra legs. And then it's just as soon as it's there, it's just kind of gone.
Can
as
I
you move your way through.
lock eyes with it and kind of like tip my hat knowingly?
So you see Dalb the Bard just watching from behind the trees, and then transform and vanish. And that's all. That's all you see. And you make your way back off into the wilderness.
So do I know, is my sword the king's sword?
Oh yeah, you have Rustbiter.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
So do I know do you know like any of its like damage and like if it's
so
long
We
range?
can sort
We
that
can
out
worry about that later.
outside.
Rustbiter is, because I know you're really gunning for this, so I'll give it to you here at the very end. It's King Algarod's personal sword, and it's a magical longsword, heavy weapon, bonus +2, weapon damage 2, with an artifact die, which is what happens with these legendary items, of D8, D10 against demons and demon-tainted creatures.
What?
It also ignores 3 points of metal armor.
What?
However, each time the user causes an enemy to be broken with the sword, she suffers 1 point to empathy.
Nice.
So you have this sword. It doesn't glow now that you're away from Weatherstone, and it goes to being like almost entirely black to your touch. It's cold to the touch. And there's a lot more. Like, you don't know what happened to the king or to its soldiers. You weren't there. It all happened out of frame with those treasure hunters. But I'd like to think if the camera panned away from the group and went back to the smoldering ruins, the fire in Weatherstone, that there in the center of the collapsed, the king in his armor, laid to rest in his bed, stands there, gleaming, bringing revenge. And as the painting that held him to this place, that prevented him from leave, finally burns away, so does the power that bound him to that place burns away, and he, for the first time, steps out of the building and walks out into the forest to seek his revenge. So you've also unknowingly unleashed some kind of calamity on the world.
But on us or just on the world in general?
Just like the armor. Just kind of stomping around out there.
Cool.
Nice.
King Algarod is free.
Guys, we're living our stories. Adventure, this is what it's all about.
All right, who wants to roll to make camp? That's it. We're done. That was a joke. We're not doing that.
There was like some panic all around
We
the table.
took a little extra time here for this last episode to wrap things up so we could be done with it. There's, of course, a lot of loose threads. There's places to explore and more things to do. And it's a realm I'm going to be spending more time in and playing with. Don't know if we'll do it here on the podcast, but here we are. Thank you for joining us. I hope we'll be recording a debrief at some point. It won't be happening the night we record this, but check out the Patreon page. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, listen to the Thomas Harrison interview again. For now, I've been your Game Master, Justin Duck. Thank you for spending your time with us and listening to us muddle through this game. You have been very patient, as have all of my players. Thank you very much. From my left, your right, we have been joined by
Leon Weinstein.
Scott Thrower from Fairy Tales for Unwanted Children.
Lavinia Avari.
And Joe Drummond.
Be good to each other. Bye.
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 And that's a wrap of our 6th year. Terrible Warriors isn't going anywhere, and we'll have new episodes out every other week throughout the summer. For information on what our programming is going to be like, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors, as well as follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/Terrible Warriors. There are posts for the public there, but if you'd like to be involved in more behind the scenes, consider supporting us financially. You'll get postcards in the mail, exclusive behind-the-scenes episodes, as well as access to joining in on private monthly games that we run for you through our Discord channel. This month, we're playing the Alien RPG, and if you're listening to this on the day this episode came out, there's still time for you to sign up. We have a lot more games we plan to play, and we are getting ready for our 7th season. It's gonna be a big one. We're gonna be doing some live streams on Twitch. We're gonna be trying out some new formats during our off-season break, as well as in 2 weeks, I'll begin a series of interviews that I recorded throughout the year with game developers and creators, community leaders, about tabletop gaming, about some fun games that are coming out in the next year, as well as the challenges that we gamers face when we're playing these games at our tables to make them safe and inclusive and enjoyable and fun. Forbidden Lands is published by Free League Games and directed by Thomas Harrison. And today's Terrible Warriors And your survivors of the Forbidden Lands are Leon Weinstein, Lovina Yavari, Joe Drummond, Scott Thrower, and Game Master Justin Eacock. And until we return again to this table to tell our stories, the Terrible Warriors will return. For now, thank you for your support. Be good to each other.